Hey guys, welcome back to the Blue Collar Future Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Robison, and we've got our co-host with us today, Jessie Demler.
What's up?
What's up, Jessie?
Chill.
It's more like I almost don't even need to do the introduction the same way anymore because it's only episodes with us right now. So I was doing other episodes where it was just me, but it's just us now.
Yeah, well, who knows? You might throw everybody for a loop one of these times and like
Dude,
have a different guest on, bro.
right? Have somebody else. Somebody.
It'll be someone else like Mr. Potato Head instead of me.
We have had a lot of people reach out to the both of us to do the podcast deal. Well, people have reached out to you. People have reached out to you because of you to come on. But yeah, just haven't been making that time for it.
It'd be cool if like you had the money to like or the availability for like everyone to be in person. That makes it more fun. But yeah.
Well, I know that for a bigger podcast, people will travel there, or even sometimes people fly you around, but I'm not there. That's not me.
Yeah.
In person, shit's way cooler.
Or you could be like that. I can't remember what that. There's one in Vegas that's like, you can pay us and we'll guarantee you 3 million views or your money back. And I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, I know there's quite a few podcasts that you got to pay to go on. There was one I was sort of interested about going on, but they charge like a couple $1,000 or something to go on. I was like, I mean, I probably, if I had a bigger platform, I probably wouldn't mind charging for that. Anyways, that's beside the point. I mean, it's just weird. It's like, what do you do? But in person's better. Maybe that's what I got to do. Maybe I start charging people to come on, and they'll be like, oh, maybe I should go there. It's called perception, perceived value, dude.
If we sell enough courses, we can fly people out,
Dude,
so
we got to start selling courses. We got to start selling courses on like how to be blue collar, I think.
There you go. Yeah. Teach people how to like make their clothes look like they've been worked in before they show up.
Show the menu, like the menu for the gas station that you go to.
Here's what I order.
Well, dude, we got a Q&A today. We got quite a few questions.
Yeah, we did good this week, even though we waited till last minute, per usual. Or I did anyway.
Yeah, well, whatever. We do this. Last week I was super busy working. We were working late every day, and I totally spaced it. By the time I put the question up, I was like, oh crap, I forgot about that. Running on autopilot. It's important to remember that nobody is 100% on top of their shit all the time.
That's not what my Instagram shows.
I have people like reach out to me saying some stuff like that, and I'm just like, if you only knew, I am not this. I don't try to portray this persona of like being on top of things all the time, but I don't know, somehow it comes across like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we got questions today, right?
Yes, we got questions. You got some questions on your story. What was the first one that you got? Who do you follow day in and day out that help you become a better job site leader?
Oh yeah. Get some homie shout outs here. Is it Angelo or Angelo? A human side of construction. That dude's awesome. I think we both follow him. He interacts. He's always been a supporter too, but he posts some really good eye-opening stuff about construction, and like he's kind of in the same lane as you and I of like, let's lead this way instead of the like, let's break them like they're wild horses. He's the other way, you know. And so I really like that stuff about him, and that's human side of construction. I think we both follow the construction mentor. That dude's got a lot of really good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I love like his perspective's pretty good. And then, every week I listen to the Dirt Talk podcast with Aaron Witt.
Yeah.
I like Build Witt's stuff. I like what he's trying to do for the industry. And then there's random ones throughout that I'm blanking because now I'm put on the spot. But yeah, I was like, those are 3 people that like I can think of right off the bat that are like, these people are good and like in the same idea or lane as what I'm thinking as far as construction goes. Yeah. And then like, I mean, there's tons of us like, our level, all our friends that are like, trying to make construction a better place, like all of our content creator buddies, if you will. So yeah.
There's a lot of them. Like that was a hard question for me too, because I had those first two right off the top of my head, but any others, like I follow a lot of people, but it's hard to place people in leadership or just like bettering the industry in all of those lanes. There's a lot of people out there. I mean, I would say those two are some of the bigger ones, and BuildWit as well. I mean, they've got some really cool stuff. Like their Dirt World Summit is pretty cool that they've been
Yeah,
putting on. I've wanted to make it there for the last couple of years, so maybe that's something you'll see me at some point.
that would be dope.
Yeah, I mean, they had Jocko go to one.
Hmm.
Guy that wrote Extreme Ownership. They had him and his company speak there at, I don't know if it was the last one, maybe the one before. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people in this space that are actively trying to better the industry and not just be grifters on the industry. I would say.
Yeah,
I think, yeah, too
yeah,
many
and
to
like,
name.
yeah, if you gave me like maybe I'll be able to give it to you, and like I'm like I could sit here on my phone and go through a list of all the people that I actually follow, like all of our friends and everything else, and like maybe we could drop that somewhere on the episode or like in the bio or something of like here's everybody, like shout out, but like those three just come to mind when I'm on the spot.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's important to just like to take a lot of input from a lot of people because not
Hmm.
everybody really has that exact. Nobody has like the whole answer really, and you might
Sure.
hear something different from one person that they may speak to you in a way that's better than somebody else. So you might hear something they may be telling you the same thing, and with one person it's going to resonate more than another. So
Hmm.
looking up a lot of people is going to be like a good thing. I would start with those two. Go to BuildWit. Go check out Echelon Front, their leadership company, um, owned by Jocko Willink. And also, one of my friends here started doing leadership. He worked in like development and stuff, and has been doing leadership training classes. I'm going to
Hmm.
have him on the podcast at some point soon. His name is Kip Sorensen, and he's actually co-host of the Order of Man podcast. And
Yeah.
he has a lot of really cool leadership information that is kind of like all encompassing. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of leadership content out there. I think find a lot of sources is going to be a good route to go. Starting with some people like that.
What about where we do the podcast in person? Doesn't the guy at Frontline have?
Yes, he does too. Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's another one. So they
Yeah.
have like there. I mean, that goes a little bit deeper into like the training, leadership training stuff. So they have classes that you can
Hmm.
do that you can take that are kind of like almost like boot camp, honestly.
Yeah.
But they have that. They is Rapport Leadership International is that company, and they've been around a long time. I think he bought into it and is a major owner now. But they've been around for a long time doing leadership development. I don't know if they really post on social media as much. So yeah, that is like courses type stuff, but like
Cool.
team building and do they do in person classes? So yeah,
Yep.
there's a lot of there's a lot of resources out there, and I've found that I've taken a lot of really good information from a lot of different people, and
Hmm.
I like following. I like following a lot of people that way.
Yeah, same. 'Cause that's like coming to mind, like I love Andy Frisella's like Q&A
Yeah.
stuff or like that sort of
Uh-huh.
stuff. I don't care for the conspiracy theory stuff. That's not my thing. But like
Oh, come
in
on,
the big
dude.
Q&A and the MFCO and all that sort of stuff, really
Yeah.
dope. But like on the same side of that, I also like David Meltzer. So it's like you've got the dude that's really like ready to break your door down with a hammer, but then you have the other dude that's like, hey, dude, let's all take this one easy. So like, yeah, it's like you said, it's cool to have a bunch. There's a lot of like really good people in the space, and you can take stuff from like each thing and kind of shape how you feel about it, which is dope.
Yeah. Well, and it's definitely hard in construction, and I don't mean to drag this question out because this is like I just keep thinking about stuff.
So,
There's a lot of things that are hard about construction for leadership because there's a lot of people that I think take things too personally, and there's a lot of like emotions run high and stress is kind of high, and there's of yelling at people and all that stuff, and it gets out of hand like pretty quick. And I've had a lot of problems with a lot of this type of stuff, being hot headed and short tempered and impatient and all that. A lot of these things I've been doing and like following a lot of these types of people have really helped in a lot of ways. And I think it's just important, like we always talk about being intentional, just showing up every day to be try to be better at least in one aspect every day.
Hmm.
I mean, I can tell you of a bunch of ways right now I still know I need to do better, and then I don't in the
Yeah.
in the moment, and I still get annoyed and have I don't know. I wouldn't say crash outs. I get annoyed and stuff, and there's like little problems here and there that happen. I think the important thing is to, in following all these people and in being intentional, you can kind of start patting out all of these little scuffs that you have
Yeah, for
on you.
sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not perfect at it either, and there's things that I need to fix. But like you said, it's all work in progress. 1% better, brick by brick.
A brick,
Yeah.
exactly. Maybe that should be the slogan.
You did we not have a question on like conflict resolution and
We
such?
do,
Or
we
we
do.
do? Okay.
Maybe we'll input that right now.
I feel
Oh,
like
that's
you were
right.
leading up for
That's right. Well, I kind of was. I
it.
skipped a question. That's why. Next one. So this one came from the Blue Collar Future Instagram. Advice on conflict resolution as a leader, especially for those that take it personally. This has been a hard one for me in particular. I feel like I'm pretty used to the whole emotions are high, yelling, whatever. It's like yelling isn't really personal. Like if people are raising their voices or the boss is like raising his voice and it sounds like he's getting mad, usually it's not really, especially with concrete. It's like there's a point where raising your voice is more just like trying to get the point across, like, hey, we need to get this done now. Like move,
Mm,
let's go. And
mm,
I feel like I've had an issue with that in the past of taking things personal, and then other
mm,
people also taking things personal. And when you live in this mode of like go go go, like we need to do the best we can, we're trying to hustle, we're trying to work our butt off to get this done right. You end up getting people that have different ideas about what is the right way to do things. And when everybody is like trying to do the best they can and something doesn't line up, it's really hard to like to put those aside and just
mm,
move forward with it. So there's a lot of people that like have little crash outs or that will get annoyed. Things that I've found that help are really just taking a step back and walking away, because honestly the confrontations don't really help that much. And that's when you see
mm.
people on, like, there's a lot of videos circulating on Instagram of concrete dudes freaking beating each other up on the job site.
Yep,
Like,
Masons too.
freaking, yeah, exactly. It's like this industry is like a bunch of hot-headed assholes that are super
Mm,
stubborn and think that their way is the only way. And I think as the leader, you have to kind of understand your guys and understand what they can do and what they can handle, and then and work really hard to understand how to get across to them your point so that it doesn't so that those things don't happen, because everybody's going to interact differently. And I've had a lot of problems with some of different guys, like communicating is really easy with some guys and really hard with others. Like they'll take what I say, me being blunt, and not even me trying to be mean or anything like that, take it as I'm like putting them down or something. And I'm like,
mm.
how would you take it like that? Because I can't like see how to communicate with them. So I've been working on that a lot lately. It's really working on how to, you have to work with each individual person and figure out how to communicate with them to kind of get over this type of stuff. But with me, like, I try to take a breather and take a step back and try to not get those emotions high,
Mhm.
and kind of come at it with some thought and do some extra thinking before I say things as well. I think that's important. I mean, it's, yeah, emotions get high, stress gets high. It's really easy to say things that are like hurtful. And especially there are people that take it personally, even though you would think based on the stigmas and the culture that people would be hardened and stuff. Like, now people still have feelings, and they still feel like if you're just straight up shitting on them, even if you don't know it, they're gonna take it personal.
Mhm.
At least some people will.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to, what you said is like you try to, a good leader, I think, knows their crew or their those that look up to them. And so like you got to do your part of like, okay, I know how so and so works. I know how so and so like, you got to figure out what like motivates people and how to talk to them and stuff like you were saying. I grew up around this and around Masons and around commercial like we both did. Like we grew up in the industry of like yelling and throwing things and like people are angry all the time for no reason. And I feel like for some reason, like concrete just brings it out in people. Like whenever we pour, block fill, it's like
Oh,
that's the
dude.
angriest part of everybody's day. Or like it's
Yeah.
probably just because emotions are high because like it has to be done right there and it
Yeah.
has to be, that sort of stuff. But I try to like, it's always been that the story, the alcoholic that had two sons and one was an alcoholic because his dad was and one wasn't an alcoholic because his dad was. Like the way that
Yeah.
like why don't you drink? Well, because my dad did. Or why do you drink? Well, because my dad did. And
Yeah.
like I try to that story is like the way I look at construction. I'm like, well, I was raised in this, and I'm like, I remember how that made me feel. So like, I don't really want to do that. Not saying I don't do it because some days, you just you it's inevitable that like things just get really heavy sometimes, and you can't control everything, and you're going to crash out because your emotions are high. But I try to remember that of like I don't remember ever like getting my head taken off and being like, God, I should work harder today. Like,
Yeah.
but I do remember being like, okay, I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah.
So like, what do I got to do to fix that? But then it's now as the leader, I'm like, cool, I don't want to deliver my message that way, but I want to
Mm.
be able to like, hey, and be able to talk to people. There was a Chase that used to work for us.
Uh-huh.
Chase would always laugh. He's like, Chase would be like, I wish you would yell at me. He's like, because I will look down the scaffold and you just look like a really disappointed dad. You know, like when someone's doing so. He goes, all of us that have been here long enough know the look on your face when you're not going to yell at anybody, but you're just disappointed. And he goes, and I hate it. He goes, I feel, just like I did when I was a kid. And I'm like, well, yeah, I don't want to, but I'm like, get your shit together. But he was always fun. Like that's that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Or, like I always sometimes I approach it with like a joking manner of like, hey, you done fucking me today? Or like, do you want to get this show on the road? Like, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be a leader of people and keep your emotions in check and be an example when like you're still human too and like you still have a lot of really high stress situations and other things like that. But you got to keep your cool and like honestly, the easiest is like you said is to step away. Like, hey guys, I'm gonna go hop in the truck for a minute. I'm gonna go get my Coke Zero refill. I'll be right back. Like, I,
Yeah.
I'm, I'm gonna go turn on a really really nice Disney song and just
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's you're human too, so it's like it's gonna happen. But if you can try your best to uh know yourself and know like okay, I'm getting to that point where I'm heated, let me remove myself from the situation because it's not
Yeah.
going to make anything better. Like you're not going to put out another fire with or a fire with another fire. Like
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen. But it's hard, dude. It's hard to
Yeah.
navigate that a lot of the time, and it's hard to navigate how other people perceive you. Like you were saying, like you could just literally be like, I need you to do this, this, and this, and they're like, why are
Yeah.
you why are you being a dick about it?
Yeah.
Like they're like,
And
no,
you're
I
like,
just
yeah, it just needs to be done.
yeah, no, this is literally like I read a bullet point list. That's all. Like just do this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you I have worked really hard over the years to not get upset as easy or annoyed and to work on my patience, and that's really paid off. The only problem, like the holdup right now I have, is the reason why, and it's also the reason why I brought up stepping away, is when people start yelling at me and getting annoyed with me for
Hmm.
whatever reason, like my I start off just fine and then my freaking timer for crashing out like goes from 0 to 100 like immediately. Like I'm like, dude, shut up. Get what is your freaking deal? I'm not mad. I don't know what you're freaking upset about. Like freaking simmer down.
Yeah.
And then I start to get mad because other people are mad. It's something I really struggle with right now. If other people are getting annoyed with me and getting mad at me, I have a really hard time without that. So I have to step away. I have to because I am still not that good at dealing with that. But it's just I think knowing your own limits and capabilities as a leader is one thing. I mean,
Hmm.
like I said, I'm not perfect at it. I think I've worked really hard to be patient and I think it's paid off for me up till now. But I liked what
Yeah.
you said about, one kid being an alcoholic because their dad is, and one kid not being an alcoholic because their dad is, because that also shows how people learn and react to you. So, I mean, it
Mhm.
just goes to show as well, like, you could be like this, and one person is going to see you and be like, oh, you're a freaking asshole, I can't stand you. And one person is going to say, you're like the best lead I've ever had, like stuff like that.
Mhm.
I think people in construction for the most part realize that you don't it's not always like sunshine and rainbows, and you can get yelled at, and it doesn't mean like somebody hates you or something. But I think everybody getting a little more patience, and then figuring out how each other communicates is a really big step.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. I guess is like one of the things that you should learn is like a human is like there's a lot of things going on in all of our lives, and like I can't. I think it was Simon Sinek that was like, hey, like if this reaction is outside of the situation, it's likely something else. Like, and I feel like construction's that way in the sense of like a little thing could go wrong and it'll make someone crash out. But like looking at that, like you need to realize like, oh, something's probably going on in there. Like, dudes have problems at home or like, something stressful or like other things like that. And that's just kind of the needle or the straw that brought the camel's back. And so like realizing that as a human too is like, hey, like they're pretty upset and it doesn't make sense why they're upset or like, they're yelling about something that like really probably doesn't need to be yelled about. I want like let that person calm down and then be like, hey dude, like you good? Like do you have something going on? Like that sort of stuff. That's what I try to do with a lot of it, like myself, or like
Yeah,
I try to recognize that about myself as well. Of like,
yeah,
hey, if I have a lot going on, like, and I'm starting to get that way, like I try to be better about expressing it. Honestly, like, hey guys, I'm not really in the best spot mentally, like, or like
uh-huh.
I've got a lot going on or a lot on my plate that's kind of like weighing pretty heavy. Like, sorry if like I don't handle things as well today, or like,
Yeah,
hey, if you notice that within other people, like, hey, pull them aside once they calm down. Be like, I notice you're kind of reacting poorly to this sort of stuff. Like, I don't think that's how that's really going. Can we talk about like, do you have some other stuff going on? Is there anything I can help you with?
yeah,
And that's the part in being a leader that like people don't like. It's more so than just giving commands, but also knowing your people.
yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. Well, let's move on to the next one. I think that we got that one pretty good. This one was gonna be the first question, so this is why I got screwed up here. How do you schedule framing jobs?
Or
I,
any
th-
job. Let's go
I
any.
think I'm paraphrasing here. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, basically. And I thought that was an interesting question, right? Because scheduling any
Mm-hmm.
job, like you're saying, is a pain. The
Mm-hmm.
scheduling process is hard because everything always depends on so many different variables. For us, we've got to make sure we can actually get the concrete we need. We need to make sure everything's ready for us. Pump company, whatever, all the stuff needs to line up. It needs to
Mm.
be good weather.
Find
Things
an
need to not
inspector.
inspector. Things need to not be in the way. Like there's a lot of things that need to line up for us. That it's funny because a lot of general contractors will say things are ready and they will not be ready. It
Oh,
is
100%.
oh yeah, hey, that'll be ready for you to pour next week. Like, okay, we go look at it like the next day. Nothing. Hey, this needs to be done. A few days later, hey, this needs to be done. It's like we can't keep up on like hound you to get your stuff ready for us. So especially when you say it's gonna be. So it's a weird situation. But I bring this up because I've talked to a lot of framers about how it would suck to be a framer for that reason, and
Mm-hmm.
it would extend to you guys because you guys are on the job for so long. So
Yeah.
I mean, so for example, a little quick story. One of my friends is a framer that he had this project. He's putting in his building permits to build somebody a house, I think, because he's a post frame builder, and I've had him on the podcast before. But he uh,
Mm-hmm.
he got everything approved, and they were like kind of moving forward with it. And these people kind of just decided that they were not going to do it anymore, and they like found a house that they liked and bought it, and so they just like canned the whole project, and it was like
Okay.
in process, like they were about to start doing it, and he was like, "Shoot, now I need to find a bunch of work." Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was going to take him 2 months. Goes out there and finds a bunch of jobs, and now he's worried he's like too busy to
Yeah.
to be able to handle all of that stuff. And it just makes me think because I've talked to a lot of different framers that they're like waiting on a job to be ready for them, that they bid and it was supposed to be ready around this time frame, and they get to that time frame and it's like a week behind, 2 weeks behind, month behind, and it's like, what do you do about all the rest of your jobs that you've got to do? What do you do in the meantime? Like you set
Hmm.
out this time to do a job and it's not ready, and then it displaces all your other jobs, or you just flat out don't get to do them anymore. Like, how do you even deal with that? I mean, what would have happened if you guys had a couple projects lined up and this one was late that you guys just are finishing up, right? It was late to start,
Yeah.
and you guys either have to bust your ass or you have to be like, okay, well, I guess we can't do this other job because this one started too late.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's why I jokingly responded on my story. I was like, "You can pray about it." Like, I don't know what else to tell you, dude. Like, inevitably, every job site's 2 months behind when we show up, and then it's like you said, if we're doing the structural block, everyone's waiting on us, and they don't, the schedule or the super or the general contractor or whoever doesn't recognize that it's been 2 months delayed on something that had nothing to do with us. They expect you to just make it up.
yeah.
And then it's, like this situation is we were supposed to be in there 2 months earlier, and now we're having to work around like the road based crew or the curb and gutter guy or like all the sort of stuff that we shouldn't have even like had any interaction with, but now he's in my way. And the painter's trying to paint, and I haven't done punch list yet. And this dude wants to seal the building, and you just get into a bunch because like no one's like, okay, well, like the dirt guy was 2 months behind, and we didn't pull the permit till he showed up, so that was delayed. And we'll just let the next guy make up for it. And it's like it doesn't work. Like, and that's I've think I've vented to you about this before, but it's like I swear they get a job site, they bring in people that have like it's all the people that have no idea how something's built, and they're like, this should take 6 months. It's like, have you asked the dirt guy? Have you asked the concrete guy? Have you asked the mason? Have you asked the framer? Like, have you asked those guys how long it really takes them to do this much work? And like, no, we just kind of guess. And then they expect you to keep that schedule. And then you have a scheduling meeting every week on Wednesday at 8 a.m. when you should be at work. And no matter what's said in that meeting, it doesn't do anything because you're still behind schedule because of what they did to start it with. Like, and
Yeah.
no, I'm not. And no, I'm not working 5/8s or 5/10s and Saturday to help you because you're an asshole. I I have big feelings about this, and
Yeah.
the only way to solve it is to one, get some competency in the initial start of the job.
Yeah.
Someone needs to be there needs to be a competent person from each trade in the initial scheduling of how long a
Yeah.
job site should take.
Yeah.
Someone needs to have a realistic conversation with the owner of the building and the general contractor, and to be like, hey, you can wish for that all you want, but it's not going to happen. Like, this is how long it really takes us to
Yeah.
lay this many blocks. This is how long it really takes us to put up this many studs. Whatever. It's like, we're not gonna. The masons aren't falling from the sky. Concrete finishers aren't just like found under any rock. Like, it's you only have so many guys, and they're not just like sitting on a shelf waiting to be like, oh, hey, we need this many. Let's
Yeah.
bring them in today.
Right.
It's just, yeah. I think it starts at that point, and then it just gets worse from there. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But there's
Yeah.
also like communication errors and transparency and being honest and 100 other things. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it definitely starts with having realistic expectations for the job, but it's like, it almost seems like on a big project like what you were just working on, that they have this overall schedule and time allotted for each, and
hmm
they start late and everything takes longer. And then by the time you guys get there, they expect to be on their overall schedule still, even though everything else has been pushed back. And it's like, you can't just have your subs 2x their work to
yeah,
catch you up on your stuff. Like, that doesn't work like that. So basically, you can't schedule jobs.
yeah.
Basically, it's impossible.
Yeah, it is. It is, dude. It's like we've gone through that struggle before as a company where it's like we could bid all this work, but it's like if we bid all that work and it's all ready, we're screwed. But
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's already at different points anyway. So why not just bid it all? And it's like, what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the hard part, I think, about being a framer. It's like, so I know some framers that work for basically just one volume builder, and
Yeah,
anytime they're building a lot of houses, these framers are busy, and when they're not building a lot of houses, these framers have no work. So that's really hard, but it's like, if this volume builder is busy, they can't take on any other work. But when
yeah,
they aren't busy, which is right now, these framers are kind of just like waiting around, like, what do we do? What do we do? And
hmm
You almost just have to have like build a big network of people that you can be in constant contact with and have them send you jobs, which is would be annoying because it's like if you're busy all the time and somebody's sending you jobs and you're always like, I can't get to it, then they're gonna stop sending you stuff. But that's the thing with framing, and I'm imagining with some masonry stuff as well, like structural masonry stuff, is you have to be sending out the bids all the time and just take what you can get
Mm-hmm.
and have like a network of people that you can go to when there's lulls, because those will happen and it's almost impossible to get rid of that stuff unless you're like doing the whole project. Like there's some framers I've seen that build the houses, like they're the general contractors, or
Yeah.
like if you're a post frame builder, like they'll do everything on it. So that's one thing you can do. But if projects fall through and you're screwed, like you need to be able to have a backlog of people to reach out to, not just projects, because you can't just take on every project, but
Mm-hmm.
you also can't just have one project fall through and not work for 2 months. So it's kind of hard. I wouldn't really know how to schedule that. I mean, you got to be in communication with your people that you work for and be like, okay, here's the deal. I've got this project's behind schedule. Like, we really just need to kind of keep in touch about how we're doing. And if we can't do your job, well, I guess, you'll have to find someone else. I think that's all you can really do at this
Yeah.
point.
And both sides of it is a good reason to be friends with your competition, if you will.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, you got to have friends in your industry. So it's like, hey, I can't get to that job, but here's so and so that we would recommend that can like do the same
Yeah.
quality work that we do, or vice versa. Like sometimes we get done with a job and the next one was supposed to be ready and it's 2 months behind again, and it's like, well, let me call up so and see if they need 15 guys to come help them on theirs because I guarantee their job site's behind schedule. Like, can we work out a piece? Can we work out a piece rate where like everybody gets paid, like that sort of stuff. So it's important to have like you said, a good network of on both sides of all of this because that kind of helps you fill those gaps if they occur.
Yeah, that's actually even a better point too, because like just having like general contractors that probably isn't even a good enough thing. Having other framers or other masonry guys that you kind of work with or know well to pass along work back and forth, because I think that happens a lot where projects just fall through.
Yeah.
So I think that's all you can do is build out your network, and when you are scheduling, be realistic with your time frame and communicate that to people that you're going to be working with. Yeah, I like that. Cool. Let's move on to the next one. Last question. So this person has been following me for a while, they say, and they basically said if you were to start over with like a high level of passion in your industry, would you start your own company? And like I think at the beginning, like if you were to start over, would you just start
Like
your own company?
just
Yes.
having a basic
Yes.
level of knowledge, would you start a company?
I think so. And I would say no, or it depends. I would say you need to work in the field for a while.
Yeah.
So this person in particular is going to school for construction management, and they've been doing internships and stuff, and then they're going to get a field job, is what they said, and do side work and stuff like that, so then they can start their own, which is a pretty good plan, I think. Like if you were going to school and you were doing internships that involved you going out into the field, and you were going to get a job that had you going out into the field, and you were going to plan to do like kind of side work to kind of get your feet wet and doing your own thing, I think that'd be a good idea if you wanted to start your own company. I don't think I would,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't really want, if that makes sense, I wouldn't really want to start my own business, because the idea of it isn't really that appealing to me. But I think depending on the situation, maybe I would. But my knee jerk reaction would be no, I wouldn't. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's the same concept of like, I mean, you and I both do side work. You and I both
Yeah.
do a little bit of stuff for extra money. And I see it from time to time where like you'll get someone and you'll kind of introduce them to the trade and they'll kind of get their feet wet and they're like starting to feel a little confident, and that's when they'll start taking side jobs, and I'm like, this is the worst time for you to do this. Like, well, second worst. The first worst would have been your first day, but
Yeah,
this is the second
true.
because like you think you know what you're doing, but
Yeah,
you have a bunch of journeymen around you. You have a boss, like other people that are solving the real problem for you. Like you're just putting
yeah,
materials in the wall, really. And you see those guys, and it's like you get to a side job in that situation. You're like, what if like breaker's supposed to lay 3 courses every 8 inches? What if it's tight? What if it's big? What
yeah,
if what if you run into a problem where you don't know how to solve it? Just, like that's a really simple one that
yeah,
I used, but
yeah,
you're gonna run into things because you don't have the experience. And sure, you can probably get on YouTube and watch a video about it, and whatever. But you would be far better off if you waited until you had a few years of experience under your belt of solving problems and
yeah,
seeing what you can run into and seeing how the journeyman around you how they solve it and learning from them rather than just jumping headfirst into the pool because
yeah,
like yeah, I don't know. Like I would suggest learning how to swim before you jump in. Like
yeah,
that's me. I'm not the one that's like jump in and figure out how to build a boat. I'm like, no, just or like learn how to fly on the way down. It's like, how about we, do a couple things first to make sure that you succeed? Because that's like, I mean, it's what 7 out of every 10 construction companies fail within 5 years. Like,
yeah,
don't be a statistic. And the way to prevent yourself from being a statistic is to do the proper set the proper foundation, if you will, if you don't
yeah,
mind that cliche saying of like, and do that so that you have something to build off of and you know how to solve problems and you're not going to like get wrecked because one time you went and bid this job and you're like, this is a huge job, and then you come in and you're like on the movie where it's like, oh dude, you were like $1 million low, have fun eating that.
right.
Like
You're
like
gonna
that'll
pay to go to work for the next couple months.
exactly. And like you don't learn those things on day one, that's for sure,
No,
or the first time that you get excited about your trade. Like it's just
right.
that all comes from being deep in it. And
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think it's weird because there's so many people right now that are like saying that it's super easy to start a business, and especially in construction, and
Hmm.
maybe they're right if you hired people that were competent enough to make up for your lack of experience. But that just sounds like not that great of an idea to me if you're gonna hire people and rely on them to make your business because you don't know anything about it. I feel
Yeah.
like there's too much going on in construction to just start a business and rely on people that you hire to do the work for you without you having like at least a basic understanding of problems that you can run across. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think yeah, I wouldn't, but you know, social media nowadays says that you can, so maybe you can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Ask any stucco dude, he'll tell you that you can start a masonry company.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, hey, they're basically the same thing, dude. You're working with
yeah, yeah,
concrete product,
yeah. We can stick fake stone to a wall. Screw it.
right? Shit.
Yeah, I do think there's a lot of stuff on social media. Like, you see it all the time. It's like the dude that like pulls up in the really nice car and his nice shirt, and he's like, "Yeah, I just hired all these guys to do all this stuff." And it's like, what if the people you hired aren't there? Like, what if you can't find that
Yeah.
person? Or like, what if there's too many what ifs
Yeah.
if you do it the other way.
Yeah. There's too
I
many what
don't
ifs
like
in
that.
general. No, I wouldn't either. No, there's certain situations where maybe it'd be fine, but either way, you need field experience. In the respect to the person that asked the question, I feel like they're on a pretty good path of they're got
Agreed.
the
Yeah.
schooling going on. They've got internship stuff, plans to go work in the field, and then go on to start a business. I think that's a good plan. Even if you had all of that and you started doing it early or
Hmm.
soon, at least you've been putting all that time in. But you can't just go. The Hispanic people around here, we kind of make jokes about it because sometimes there'll be Hispanic guys that'll like sit there and watch us do concrete, and we're like, well, they're gonna go bid a driveway tomorrow and do a driveway because they watched us and they know how now. But like their culture has it to where they just feel like they can figure it out and do it, and I feel like that's
Yeah.
great at some point. But you gotta like you gotta do it and have the opportunity to learn and make mistakes and not just like
Hmm.
jump into it and just start doing jobs because you saw somebody do it or because you did it for 2 months working for somebody. So
Hmm.
anyways, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
I like the path that he's on, and I wish that he could convince a couple of like project managers and superintendents and other people to also follow that path. You know,
Yeah,
at least they got their degree in construction management.
true. It's true. I think the bar is just so low for that right now because there's so many freaking
Yeah.
jackwads that are project managers.
It's like we just needed somebody to be a scapegoat. So
Right? We just needed somebody to get yelled at every day because we didn't
yeah.
want to. We didn't. Yeah. Awesome. I liked these questions.
Yeah, that was good.
So, yeah. Like we mentioned earlier, we put out on Instagram and collect questions. You can DM us if you have questions, but look for those. And we like answering these questions that are a little bit different than normal. So it's fun to have everybody's ideas. Like we're having a conversation with you guys,
Yeah.
answering
I love it.
questions. It's fun.
It's yeah, way more fun than being asked the same question 16 different ways.
Over and over again. But yeah, so if you like this episode, like it and share with a friend who you think will get something out of it, and subscribe, do all the things. It really helps us, and appreciate everybody listening, and appreciate you, Jesse, for supporting and being here.
Yeah, like always, dude. I appreciate you for having me and
Oh
all the
yeah,
hard work you do for this. It's fun.
yeah, awesome. We'll see you guys next week.